This is your newscaster, Stormy Clearweather. Today I'm interviewing a local firefighter who's been working restlessly for the last 17 hours trying to stop a 4-city block fire from spreading. Mr. Burns, when did this fire start?
The fire started Saturday, October 7th and did not end until this morning. We have been battling fires every day in October. Over 185 firefighters have been working to keep these little fires contained. Since our summers and falls have been unusually dry, the city is a tinderbox waiting to be lit. The city is mostly built of wood.
Now I've been told that Chicago replaced their fire department in 1858 by a full-time professional corps. The fire department requested new hydrants, large water mains, more men, 2 fireboats to patrol the river spanned by wooden bridges, but the city refused. Why would they refuse this?
They were fearing the higher taxes would restrict the growth of businesses.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Hopefully the city agrees to the request that the fire department asked for before they regret it. This is your newscaster, Stormy Clearweather. I am live at the place where the fire started. I am interviewing a pedestrian. What did you see?
Fire started around 9 p.m. The fire started in the Old Erie cattle barn. Within the hour, the fire spread through the block. Within the strong westerly wind, the fire is spread toward the business district.
Do you think that the firefighters will be able to stop this fire before it spreads any further?
I don't know right now. The wind's blowing pretty hard. It's blowing the roofs off buildings and fanning our fire.
Hopefully the firefighters can work with the old equipment and bring the fire to an end. I talked to one of them earlier and he said they were worn out from the fire they were battling for over 17 hours. I hope they can find the energy. Oh no, the waterworks on Pine Street just caught fire. Its wooden roofing shingles has been replaced with slate, but the structure itself was pine. A burning amber struck on the roof and the building was quickly destroyed. It was the main source of water for the city's understaffed fire department. I will be back with more news. This is Stormy Clearweather, live at the scene Monday at 1:30 a.m. This just in, the fire has reached the courthouse tower and the watchmen have barely escaped. They have just unlocked the prison so criminals might be able to escape and survive. The prisoner is barely able to escape in time. The courthouse bell, which has been sounding the alarm, has fallen through the collapsing tower. I'm in the heart of the fire. Trees are exploding, horses are running wildly free through the streets, dogs are running circles, and rats are fleeing out of the wooden sidewalks and being crushed by people. Pigeons are struck in the smoke and flames of the fire from the buildings. People are fleeing. The rich are hiring carriage to load their belongings in and sprint them into the night. They are hoping that they can find their possessions again. The fire is blocking all avenues of escape. Most of the population is fleeing towards the lake. Factory workers, prostitutes, butchers, merchants, industrialists, and the working poor are being united in their misfortune. Thank you all. Bringing more news on the fire later. This is your newscaster, Stormy Clearweather. This just in, the roof has just collapsed on the pumping station at Chicago Avenue, effectively rendering any firefighting efforts helpless. We can only hope an act of God will help us stop this fire now. Newscaster, Stormy Clearweather. The North Division fire has reached North Avenue and is continuing for the better part of a mile towards Fulton Avenue. Back in the South Division, the luxurious new Palmer House gives way, along with the Chicago Tribune, whose editors have asked the Common Council to raise the level of fire protection or face disaster. I'm here with Miss Catherine O'Leary, whose cow supposedly knocked over a lantern and started a fire. What seemed to have happened that your cow would knock over the lantern?
I don't think my fire started in my barn, or if it did, I don't think my cow started it. We just came from Ireland too, and we are newcomers to this town, and very poor, so we don't leave the lanterns burning when we're not in the barn. We try to save oil. We do not milk in the afternoon, meaning there would have been no lantern in the barn. The neighbors were having a party that night. I think that 2 of their guests were fighting in the barn, and one of them was smoking a cigar. The cigar might have started the fire.
So you're telling me that you think one of the neighbors' guests might have started the fire?
Yes, because there would not have been a lantern burning in my barn, so my cow could not have knocked one over and started the fire.
Well, the police will put more work into the investigation and see who really started the fire. Thank you for your time, Miss O'Leary. Hopefully the police will save your name from starting the monster of a fire that is burning down the city. This is your newscaster, Stormy Clearweather. The fire has been burning for over a day now, and there's no hope of stopping this fire. Only an act of God can save the city from burning to the ground. Hopefully God will answer our prayers and bring an end to this fire. This is your newscaster, Stormy Clearweather. The fire has finally stopped. Rain started coming down sometime this morning. I have back with me Mr. Burns, who I interviewed this morning of the great fire starting to burn. Mr. Burns, were you on duty when the fire first broke out?
Yes, I was the first team to arrive at the start of the fire.
What seemed to happen?
The watchman on duty saw the fire on the west side of the city.
The alarm went out, locating the fire on the grid. As he continued to watch, however, he realized he had dislocated the fire by about a mile. The exhausted fireman and I were headed in the wrong direction. By the time we arrived at the correct location, the fire is already burning quickly.
Do you think that you could have stopped the fire from burning a lot of the city down if you would have been at the scene of the fire at the very beginning instead of going in the wrong direction?
Yes, the success of the fire department was predicted on our ability to spot a fire quickly and control it before it spread to the rest of the city. However, human error was our problem in stopping the fire.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Hopefully the city can rebuild itself from the burning embers. This fire promoted an outbreak of looting and lawlessness. Companies of soldiers are being summoned to Chicago, and martial law is being declared today, ending 3 days of chaos. Martial law is control of an area by military force rather than by the police. Next week, I will be giving more updates on the fire that has finally stopped. This is your newscaster, Stormy Clearweather. It has been a week since the fire has finally stopped burning. At least 300 people, 1 in 1,000, were found dead. More, however, were killed, but no bodies were found. Many people drowned when they went into the lake to escape the fire. Over 70,000 buildings and 73 miles of streets are destroyed. It is reported that some Chicagoans were trapped or crushed in their homes, on one of the bridges, or in the Washington and Los Angeles tunnels while the fire was burning. Many people are already working on the rebuilding of the city. Chicago is the lumber capital of the nation. Many of the lumber yards were spared by the fire. They were located on the river, in many cases below the fire. The fire swept over them and left them unscathed. Being a transportation hub, Chicago can get raw materials fast, making the rebuilding of Chicago faster than thought possible. The city is regretting not listening to the fire department's plans for renovating the city to be a safer place. This is your newscaster, Stormy Clearweather. It has been over a month since the fire stopped burning. Laws have been passed requiring new buildings to be constructed with fireproof materials such as brick, stone, marble, and limestone. These building materials will be much more expensive than wood and are held together by a sticky, strong substance called mortar. Many poor Chicagoans couldn't afford the fireproof materials or skilled masons to rebuild. In addition, many could not afford fire insurance. Without the means to rebuild or insurance their property, thousands of people and small businesses were crowded out of Chicago. Many other businesses simply ignored the new building laws. Wood often replaced stone, and builders decorated their buildings with wooden awnings and cupolas. Joseph Medellin was just elected mayor after promising to institute stricter building and fire codes, a pledge that may have helped him win the office. His victory might also be attributed to the fact that most of the city's voting records were destroyed in the fire, so it was next to impossible to keep the people from voting more than once.